I signed up for PS Now almost a year ago, so I have plenty of experience with the service and I'm trying to determine whether it is worth for $60 to renew my own subscription and whether you should sign up to PlayStation Now too. Maybe there's even a way to get it cheaper. Let's find out. First off, it is important that you do not confuse this service with PS Plus. PS Now is a separate subscription available for PS4, PS5 and PC that gives you instant access to a huge library of games which can either be streamed from the cloud or downloaded to a console. In total, PS Now currently gives us access to just short of 800 PS4, PS3 and PS2 games, but the total is increasing month by month. Now, that's a ton of games, so how much does this thing actually cost? Well, direct on the PS Store, it costs $60 or £50 for a year, $10 for a month, or you can get 3 months for $25. However, you can actually get the service for as low as $35 a year if you go to CD Keys, who offer huge discounts on the subscription for most regions. I should stress that I am not being sponsored by CD Keys, but I've been using them for PS Now and PS Plus for a while and have yet to have a single problem. So if you are interested in purchasing your PlayStation subscriptions cheaper from them to save money, I'll leave an affiliate link to the discounts in the description. Assuming you do sign up to PS Now with CD Keys then, you'll be getting access to these 800 games for a year for just somewhere between $35 and $45. That sounds like an absolute steal, but is it? What's the catch here? Are the games bad? After my own use of PS Now, the easy answer to that is no, the games are great. Sony are constantly adding new PS4 games to the service, but some do also leave the service after a few months sadly. For instance, Marvel's Spider-Man and Borderlands 3 were two major titles to have recently been removed after being on the service for several months. But The Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead 2 and a few other games did come in and take their place. These will be leaving in the future though as well to be replaced by other games. Now, Spider-Man, Borderlands and The Last of Us 2 were all contenders for Game of the Year, with The Last of Us Part 2 winning it, as well as being the most awarded game in history. So no, the games aren't bad at all. To further support this, all of the God of War games are on the service, God of War 2018 also being a Game of the Year winner. To name a few more impressive games available, both Red Dead Redemption games are currently there, alongside Horizon Zero Dawn, the first 3 Uncharted games, all the Batman Arkham games, Bloodborne and much more. I should also mention that any games with multiplayer elements will not require a separate subscription to PS Plus, assuming they are within the PlayStation Now library. If you are considering signing up, I'd encourage you to take a look through the library yourself first and have a think about what you might play if you choose to sign up. I'll leave a link to the full list in the description. Oh, and whilst you're down there, hit that like button if this video has been informative so far, and leave a comment letting me know your favourite game that's available on PS Now. I really want to know. Anyway, out of all of the games available, I've learned that only approximately 300 can be downloaded to your console to be played natively, these being most of the PS4 and PS2 games. Sadly, no native PS5 games are yet to be listed on the service either, so you don't get the native PS5 ports of PS4 games. For example, if you download Final Fantasy VII, you are forced to play the PS4 version. However, if a game has been updated to improve performance, but is not necessarily a native upgrade, then you should still receive those improvements. An example of this is The Last of Us Part 2. As you can see in the menu, we can run at the 4K 60fps target, which is limited to just PS5 consoles. When it comes to the PS3 games, they must be streamed via the cloud. There's no option to download those, which is quite infuriating, as most of the time I prefer a download, but in all fairness, that doesn't mean that the streaming option is poor. It's genuinely quite impressive following some of the newer updates. If you want to use this streaming feature, then Sony advise you have a connection of at least 5 megabits per second for both your download and upload speeds, or at least 15 if you want to stream at a complete 1080p 60fps. Realistically though, 30 megabits per second is probably a safer bet for a perfect experience with no hitches. Therefore, before signing up, go on over to your PS4 or PS5 and we should test our internet connection in the system settings just to make sure it is fast enough. Once you've done that, let me know your results in the comments. The PS Now app also has a built-in test to see if you can stream games, so run that as well. If your speeds are slow, then you might want to try following along with my guides on boosting internet speeds for PS4 and PS5. They might be really useful to you. So throughout my own year of use, I've streamed several games on PlayStation Now, and have most recently used it to stream MotorStorm Apocalypse, which is a game I used to be obsessed with on the PS3. Like, I was playing this 24/7. As with most PS3 games though, this is sadly capped to a 720p stream currently, but in comparison to last year, it is still outstanding. I don't notice any sort of input lag in the slightest, and I've had no dips or stuttering. Honestly, it's like you've just thrown me back in time 10 years, and I'm just sat there playing on my PS3. It's the exact same. Moving on to PS4 games, I've tried streaming Horizon Zero Dawn, and it looked and played brilliantly in 1080p. Combat was great, and the input lag just wasn't there. For multiplayer games, I've tried PUBG in 1080p, and with the online elements more heavily involved here, I have to admit I did notice a little more lag than with the single player games, but I wouldn't say it was enough to make the game less enjoyable, and I wouldn't let it put you off it. Most multiplayer games on the service can be downloaded anyway. Overall, the streaming option in PS Now is significantly better than last year on both consoles, and it also runs brilliantly on PC. Do note that on PC, whilst you have access to the full library of games, none of them can be downloaded at all, so streaming them is your only option there. At the incredibly low price of around $40 on CD keys, it seems pretty safe to say that the service is great value. But to reinforce that even more, over the last years through my own use, I've probably saved myself around $450 from the games I've tried on the service, and I've not used it anywhere near as much as I'd have liked to. If I was playing games for just an hour a day for the last year, I bet I would have been able to save well over $1,000 thanks to PS Now. PlayStation Now has a really bright future ahead of itself too. PlayStation's CEO is constantly teasing that they have big things lined up for the service in the very near future, so I'm pretty certain the number of games on the service is really going to ramp up, and I bet we do start to see new games just being put straight into it, similar to how Xbox Game Pass works. The quality of streaming the games is always improving as well, and I doubt it's going to be long until we start to see native PS5 games in the service. PlayStation have also spoken about expanding PS Now to more countries very soon, further showing that they are beginning to take this service much more seriously. The fact that it is integrated straight within the PS5's UI makes that fact even more clear. In conclusion then, for the price we can get PlayStation Now at on CD keys, I think it is more than worth it if you have a PS4 or a PS5. The variety of games is huge, you can play them instantly by streaming them, or you can play a lot of them natively on your console just with a download. New games are being added all the time too, and the amount of money you can save is genuinely insane. Through all those reasons, I'm going to purchase another 12-month subscription right now. What about you? Are you going to sign up? Let me know in the comments. If the answer is yes, remember to think about getting the lower price using the link in the description. It helps out the channel as well. If you want to know how to share your PS Now subscription with your friends and family, then click the video on screen now, as well as subscribe so you don't miss future PlayStation content. Anyway, that's all from me in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.